Hello, welcome to another video by Simon Farrell. This one is for a Star Wars helmet, and this is for a helmet that I'm very pleased to have in my hands. It was very kindly made for me by a gentleman who was persuaded to do the work for me by his friend, who is an acquaintance of mine. And I am really impressed with this. It arrived yesterday, and I just wanted to share it with you because I think the level of construction and the quality of this is just, knocks the ball out the park on this one. It's a really nice helmet, and it is, if you haven't guessed already, it is a Imperial Empire Strikes Back ATAT Driver helmet. And it is a particularly nice one. I've always wanted to add one of these to my collection, but was a little bit hesitant because, you don't know which one to go for, or at least I didn't. And there are obviously really beautiful helmets out there like a Novos, but there's no way I'm going to ever be able to afford an Novos because they're about, £500 on me. But this is, in my mind, just as nice, really. That might be a bit of a bold statement, but I really do think that this is a beautiful helmet. So I just want to take you through a couple of the details of this helmet and also the materials with which it was made. Right then. Okay, basically it is high impact polystyrene, or HIPS for short. It's not ABS. Apparently ABS is more prone to imperfections in the plastic. I'll just put that down a bit so you can see the whole helmet. There we go. And also, it's not being painted. This is actually the colour of the hips. And when these things were constructed, obviously back in the late 70s, they used to adjust them and make them look different from other helmets by using what they called in the industry greeblies. And greeblies is basically a word for household objects. Anything they could get their hands on, spray it up, do it up, make it look like it's off, otherworldly. And it really does work, I think, in this case. These parts here, believe it or not, I'll just get it a bit closer. These parts here, which were added to the helmet, those were originally soda stream siphons. And what they did was they just took some, painted them up, put a bit of red on them or whatever, painted them black, and attached them to a TIE fighter pilot helmet. And then to make it look different, they obviously sprayed the whole thing grey, added these tusks, and these tusks, none of these things are 3D printed. They're all cast resin. Which is a very nice touch, because I know obviously nowadays everybody's doing 3D printing, but I don't really like 3D printing. That's my opinion. I think it's the easy way out, or the easy option. This is made in the traditional way, so you've got these tusks at the bottom where the original TIE fighter pilot's oxygen hoses would have been, and apparently these have been cast from the turned aluminium ones, so these are actually quite sharp. Even though they're resin, they're quite sharp, which is nice. To show you the inside of the helmet. Now the inside of the helmet has got a builder's workman's cradle in there, a harness, so that's adjustable, and that is really comfortable to wear. Once that's adjusted to the correct head size, there's no travelling or wobbling or anything. And it's also got smoked grey lenses in there, which are unusually thick. They're about 3mm thick, which is nice. It's constructed with little screws. I don't know if you can see that on the inside of there. And they've all been kind of sealed off with what looks like a hot glue gun. Okay, now the back of the helmet. Now the back of the helmet has this really beautiful red stripe, this ending in this arrow here. Now the reason they did this in the actual film is they only made 2 ATAT helmets. In order to create the illusion of there being 4, they filmed certain scenes with the plain grey, and then they added these decals to create the illusion of there being 2 cockpits and 4 ATAT drivers. I particularly like this one. I think it's mainly because it was on the Peletoid Kenner figure, and that always, you know, has a bit of strikes a chord with me when I see that red line down there. It's really nice. And underneath that, you've got another Greebly, which was on the original screen used helmet, and apparently that was a snuff box or a pill box. Anyway, some small container to hold something. That again cast in resin to show the side of the helmet. Really, really nice. I think it's a 4-piece construction. You've got the faceplate, you've got the 2 earcon pieces, and then you've got the pilot helmet on the top. It's really, really, really beautifully made. I'm really, really grateful for being able to add this to my collection. So a big, big thank you out there to Paul and Dave. Thank you very, very much for allowing me to get my hands on this and to share it with you guys. And apparently the decals, the red Imperial cog decals, and obviously the stripe and the detailing on the top, they were actually supplied by a guy who has connections in the actual movie industry, and he supplied the decals for the Rogue One helmet. So if that's true, that's amazing, and I feel really honoured to have this in my collection. I'm so pleased with this, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm waffling. So the only thing left to do really is to try this baby on, and then we can have a look at it. So bear with me a second. Okay, it is really, really comfortable, and there's no travelling. Whatever angle you move your head in, it just stays rock solid, and that's because of the builder's helmet harness inside. And wow, it makes me want to make the rest of the suit now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Whatever you're up to for the rest of the week. Take care, and there's only one thing I have to say really, and that's the only line that the ATAT driver said in the whole film, I think, which was, what's he said? Distance for power generators is 17.28. Anyway, cheers for watching. Hope you like that. I'm really chuffed with this, and I'll see you soon for another review. May the force be with you, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.